Amber, and if I freeze, just jump in, just make something up. That's what I do. Welcome, everyone. This is our Thursday morning production call. Super excited about this one. We got, we were doing our lineup for the production training and producer panels for next week at conference, and just looking at the whole master organization in the Cook hierarchy of just all these top producers, and right, so many agents, over 100,000 already in business for the year. It's just super cool to look at stuff like this, and it just shows what's possible. I mean, y'all, let's see the leaderboards in the Cook hierarchy, right, every week on Monday, and it's like you gotta be writing like 15 grand to be like in the top 5 sometimes. Like it's super cool to see that. So what we're going to train on today, right, is top producer mindset and tricks, right? Like I think sometimes as a new agent or someone not getting the results that we want, some of these numbers are, I don't know if the word's overwhelming, right, but like sometimes unreachable in our own heads, and really it's far from it, right? So we're gonna give you all a whole bunch of really good nuggets on that. But I always love to talk about, right? This is an hour-long call. It's going to be a ton of information. Today, again, like some of these calls, we're going to have a lot of stuff I really want y'all to write down and be super interactive with throughout the call. So feel free to unmute, ask any questions you want, but I am going to have some stuff that I want y'all to write down. So make sure you got a pen and notepad out. You ain't going to remember this stuff. I promise. It's an hour long. It's a lot of information. And then what we ask, right, is, one, don't go out and change your entire appointment. That is not what we want you to do. You're already helping folks, right? It's just take notes and then look at 2 to 3 things that, hey, you know what, I want to apply this today, right? Because that's the magic, actually applying what we're learning. The joke in my base shop is, I don't know anything. I'm just really good copycat, because I promise y'all, I don't. I suck at this business when it comes to production and recruiting. I'm just really good copycat, and I'm just really good at putting up big numbers to get the results that I want. That is the beautiful thing about having a system. So anything that y'all feel help more families, or get the results that you want, y'all can also post on Band. We do learn together as a really big community in the Cook hierarchy. So if y'all can post that on Band, hey, this really helped me this week or in this appointment, because other agents can see that, and we really appreciate it. So thank y'all for that. So we will get started. That top producer mindset and tricks, it just, one of the ongoing jokes is, when we do have an agent become a top producer, we'll usually talk to them afterwards about, hey, so what changed, right? Like, what did you end up doing? And it's kind of funny, because most of the time it's like, I don't know, right? It's like, I mean, I was working and I'm still working, right? I'm still putting in the same hours, and it's like, I don't know what I really did different. I mean, I tweaked here and there, but that, right? And so it's just really cool, because the inside joke of that is really just belief and mindset. It is insane of how much that has power over how many families you help and how much money you deposit into your bank account. So that mindset is tied to so many different things. One, are you reading, right? Are you plugged into these calls? Do you believe, right, what we're telling you? I always talk about, if you're not getting the results that you want, some of these calls and mindsets are hard to jump into, because you're not in the right spot, right? And you're not in the right mindset. And you're like, well, I've been doing this for 6 months, a year, whatever it may be, and I'm not getting the results. But yet I hop on this call and you're telling me 40 CI leads and just follow the script, and right. And you don't realize how much you're impacting not getting results without even knowing it. Because if it's in your mind, I promise you, it's coming out of your mouth without you knowing. What do I mean by that? You could be booking appointments. Like, one of the biggest change that I can help an agent with sometimes when they're booking appointments is, like, is your mind right? Are you just trying to put up 200 dials, or are you really trying to book appointments? Because if you're not in a good mindset, you can dial and everyone is going to tell you no. Everyone in your head is telling you they don't want this, whatever, just because they got their voice fluxed a little bit. You're like, oh, well, I just want to make sure this is something you want. I mean, you went straight to the tell me no, right? Versus just keep pushing and getting the appointment. It is insane. I watch this happen almost every single week with agents, as right, we get to coach them on their dial sessions in the live workroom, right? Like it is insane of how much your mind will stop you from booking appointments. Like you don't hear it, but you're saying little things that's pushing them to not book an appointment. That's pushing them to not make a right, not put protection in place. You just don't hear yourself, right? Because it's your mind, right? Like you're just answering, right, or reacting to whatever they're doing automatically, right? So that is super powerful when you truly understand that, right? Because then I'll tie in strawberry milk, attracting, right, a 5K week, a 10K week, a top producer, right? However much you want to deposit in the week, I want to deposit 5K, right? Like Tequila told me she's going to put this to the test. She posted, I want to deposit 7K by next week. I promise y'all, if you believe stuff like this, it happens. Look, I stopped trying to figure out why this stuff works. I just know it does, and I'm just math driven and statistic driven. I just do more things that are going to give me the results that I want. I just want the odds on my side, right? So when we talk about a producer mindset, is okay, how can I affect that? How can I put the odds on my side? Right. So the first thing is going to be belief. It's built into our 8 keys, right? Our success plan, right? And so you got to believe in this. Okay. If you don't believe in this, I promise you, right? And I hate saying stuff like this, but just quit, because it ain't ever going to work if you don't believe you can. If you read our books, right? If you ever read, right, the Secrets of a Millionaire Mindset, right? Like we got thermostats that we got to overcome, all of us, right? Like, have y'all ever wondered, like, when you need to pay a bill or you need to make so much money, all of a sudden it happens, but you only made that much, just enough to clear, just enough to pay the bills this month, right? Like just enough to pay rent when you really needed it. I promise you, it's that thermostat's in play. And you have to learn to recognize these things so that you can change the temperature, right? So that you can increase the deposit thermostat, because I promise it's real, right? So I want to give y'all indicators of, hey, is there a thermostat in place in my top production or in my production, right? And how do I recognize it? How do I adjust it? And it just takes time, right? But a couple of indicators. Are you thinking right now in your mind, if this week, this month, you have thought, I need to make enough for blank, right? Because I don't have enough to pay these bills. You got a thermostat in the way, right? I just need so much money to get to conference. There's a thermostat in play, because I promise you'll probably get what you need, but that's it. So guess what happens next week? Nate, it sucks, right? It's like, I just made enough, but now it's tight again, right? So how do you recognize these? If you're saying or thinking things like that, that's how you recognize it. Be like, oh, okay, I am saying thermostat statements, right? Now here's the cool part. If you're saying thermostat statements, one, that means you have power, because you're controlling what shows up. You just got to adjust the temperature a little bit. Stop saying, I just need enough for this, and put a good number there that's going to help you pay all your bills, pay your rent, pay your trip to a conference, and put money in the bank account and be enough for leads. And don't be scared. Let me tell you, most of the time, that number is double or more of what's in your head. That's what's intimidating. I'm going to say that again. Most of the time, that number is more than double of what's in your head. Your thermostat doesn't allow you to believe you can deposit blank dollars by blank time. And that's what you have to adjust. Believe me or not, again, I'm just telling y'all what works. Every time we've put a thermostat on ourselves, we hit that goal. And almost every time, still to this day, I'm like, man, we should have shot for more. And it goes for everything. So I want y'all to get excited about this, right? Like if you're saying, and let me tell y'all, most of us have a triggering thermostat statement, right? Like I just need enough for this, I need enough for blank, right? Just look at that number and double it. More than likely, you will hit it. I promise you. Now you got to do all the right things to get there. It ain't just going to show up by yourself while you sleep all day, right? So we're going to give y'all some nuggets to make sure we fill in the rest of those gaps. But mindset, top producer wise, you have to identify this at first. Okay. We are that here. This is where the belief, borrow Symmetry's belief. Okay. Write this down. Y'all ready? I work for the 9th highest paying company in the country. Write it down. I'm watching y'all. Y'all ain't writing it down. Write it down. You have to believe this. One, because it's true. We didn't come up with this. Forbes magazine said it. I work for the 9th highest paying company in the country. And what I want y'all to be excited, that does not mean 100K. That does not mean 150K. We're talking about $200,000 a year or more. That's what the 9th highest paying company can give to you. You just got to go get it. And there's stuff we got to tweak. This is the hard stuff to tweak. Almost all of y'all have written a policy at this point. Every single one of y'all. Y'all have written a policy. You've written 5, 10K, whatever in a month, right? But we just can't get past that hurdle, right? It's hard. It's just it's right here. I promise you. No one's doing anything different, right? You can ask any of the top producers, any of our elite producers. They're just like, what are you talking about? I just do it. And they do the same thing. They have the same scripts. They have the same leads. Nothing changes. It's just what changes in here, and it's the belief. Top producers believe they are top producers and can be a top producers, right? You just got to be strong enough. Here's the tricky part. You got to be strong enough mindset wise to get there, because that uphill journey is hard. Because you're going to have weeks where you invest in leads and you don't get deposits. You're going to have weeks where you sit with a whole bunch of families and they say no, and that's going to be hard. You're going to have weird things happen in your business, but it has nothing to do with you. It's called business. Things happen. Every single business, things happen. A window breaks, the tile breaks, a restroom breaks, the water heater breaks. Welcome to being in business. You just let your mind say, oh, these are signs, or, oh, no, it's your thermostat. I promise you, it's your thermostat versus, oh, I need $3,000. Let me go make $3,000. I promise you, it's all in your mind. Okay. So I'm going to give y'all some really cool tools to overcome this kind of mindset and to get to a top producer mindset, someone that believes and just has the faith that this is going to work, right? Because running a business, you got to have goals, you got to have faith, and you got to have belief. Like that's what running a business is, because it doesn't exist until you do it. Think about that. Your agency, your deposits don't exist until you create them. So you got to have that mixture of things to make sure they happen. Okay. So I'm going to give y'all some tools. Okay. First of all, has everyone heard of the Symmetry 3 cogs, the Symmetry machine? If not, I hope you're in conference, because we're going to give it to y'all, but I'm going to give y'all a sneak peek if you haven't heard of it. The 3 cogs, write these down. The 3 cogs are recruit, leads, and engage. Those are the 3 mechanisms inside of the Symmetry system. I think I got a slide here for you. Here we go. Share my screen. So if you haven't seen this, now you have. Symmetry is a machine. It's a system, right? We put time, energy, and money into the machine, and it brings out impact. Impact creates income here. We protect the family. We help an agent protect the family. That generates income. We create impact to generate income. The machine includes recruiting, leads, and engagement. Again, I stopped trying to figure out why this works. I'm just telling you what the numbers are, right? So now that we know that, I'm going to dig into the 3 cogs and how you can affect this in your business, because these are things that tie to almost every single one of our elite top producers. Okay. So I don't care what they're doing. I'm just going to do what they're doing to make sure I can win at that level. Okay. Just know these stats. This is a machine. Gears work and they all have to be turning at the same time. So what you have to understand and be okay with is if you're not doing one or the other, the machine does not turn, right? Everyone understand how 3 cogs work? If one spins, the other one has to spin. If you remove, right? So if you looked at the picture, there's 3. If you remove one, this one doesn't touch this one, the machine does not move. No matter what, if the 3 are not moving, you ain't going to get the results that you want. You may get results. All of us get results. All of us have written an application up until this point. It's just usually not the results that we want. So this is how we get it. So again, the recruiting. Look, I don't care how you recruit. I'm just giving you statistics. Okay. You don't have to be the best recruiter. You don't have to be the highest recruiter. You just got to have some kind of recruiting if you want to be a top elite producer. Most, right? And when I say most, I'm talking about like 85 or higher % of elite and top producers are builders. They only got, here's the cool part. Don't think it's like this huge, massive organizations. They just do interviews here and there, right? They have an agent here or there. But because of that, right? So there's a direct connection with a recruiter, a builder, and a top producer. Why, Joe? Remember that little word I said, belief? Everybody thumbs up. Y'all remember that? Okay. Guess what a recruiter or a builder has to do every time they interview someone? Somebody can unmute and tell me that.
They have to pour that belief into their recruits.
I like it. What else? Come on, don't be shy. Unmute. This tells me how many people don't know these secrets.
They're going over everything that's positive about Symmetry, everything that makes Symmetry what it is, and telling that almost daily brings in the belief.
Love it. Robert?
Yeah, just believe in what you do. That's just simply believe in what you're doing, because if not, it's not, you're being a hypocrite.
I like it.
I also want to add on something that both you and Nathan have said in the past. Running production sessions is as much for you all as it is for us, sometimes more so for you than it is for us. And when you're recruiting, that information, again, that you're pouring into your recruits, you're pouring back into yourself to drive your belief and your deposits up.
Yeah, yeah. You know, we did a meeting with like a whole bunch of Symmetry leaders, right? And right, they gave all these examples just like y'all are, right? And they kind of condensed them into, right, like let's break that down. Why is that connection? So one of the biggest things is you're selling yourself on the system. You think you're interviewing and selling someone every time, right, that they're interviewing. You are, but you're selling yourself every single time you do an interview, because you're telling them, hey, guess what? If you invest, right, this is how our system works. We work off of leads, right? Every 250, you make right? You make $1,000 to $1,500, right? A full-time agent sits 10 to 12 families a week, right? You're selling yourself. You think you're doing it for them. I promise you, you're doing it for you. You are selling yourself on the system every single. Let me tell you, after a full day of interview, tomorrow we can go write a ton of business. I don't know why, right? I believed in it, right? Like James had like, what did you have? You wrote a couple of apps the other day, and James, I don't know if you realized this, you hired someone the day before.
Yeah, I had like 2 or 3. I had like 5 interviews. The next day I wrote like 3,100.
Dude, Sometimes we don't realize what we're doing, but that's why. Again, I stopped trying to figure it out. It's part of my cogs. Anyone that recruits. So if you're not recruiting, look, I ain't saying you have to. I'm just saying top producers do it, right? I'm gonna put myself there. Get with your upline. Hey, how can I start? How can I start recruiting? There's so many free ways right now, and let me tell you, we dream every single night that you will call us and say, "Hey, I'm ready to recruit." That's a dream of ours. I promise you, we will be there to support you. There's so many ways to do it, right? Again, that's just one of the systems. The next one, leads, right? This one's very simple. Got to invest in leads every single week. You are a business. Hamburger meat has to come in every single week if you want to go sell hamburgers. Okay? Follow the system. Stop trying to figure it out. Now, here, this is where it starts to get a little tricky because there's ways to follow the system and there's ways to not follow the system. This is why you don't do this by yourself. There's a team ready to support you in so many different ways. So I want to hit on leads. Everyone knows the good old 250 makes me $1,000, right? Does everybody know that? Okay, if you haven't, now you heard it. $250 to $300 in lead investment should make you $1,000 to $1,500 in net deposit. If you don't know that number, please write it down. Every $250 to $300 in lead investment deposits cash dollars, not APV, deposits $1,000 to $1,500 net. That means you should be depositing more, but you got to back out your lead investment, right? So if you deposit $1,500, but you invested $250, you netted $1,250, right? You got to understand that math. If you're under that, it's okay. We just got work to do, right? That's all it is. But we just got work to do, right? And then again, fall in love with those numbers and make them fun, because that means that when I heard that from Mark Newbauer, I came from a business, right, that I had to go buy flour, donuts, cars, or whatever I had to buy to make money and sell. So Mark says you invest 250, you make 1,000. I'm like, so if I invest 500, I make 2. If I invest 750, I make 3,000. And you're telling me, Mark, are you sure if I go buy $1,000 worth of leads this week, you're telling me I go deposit $4,000? And he's like, Joe, long as you follow the system and you're consistent over 6 weeks, that's what it should be. It has never been under that. When I look at any year, any 6-month, quarter period, it has never been under that. It is insane of how these numbers work if you are consistent. You can't work for so many weeks and then stop and be like, oh, that didn't work. Well, no, you stopped, right? Leads got to stay on. If you turn off your leads, you reset those clocks so you can buy leads, not buy leads, and be like, well, I did it for 6 weeks. Like, no, you stopped week 4. Even if it was one time, you reset the clock. Every single time you reset the clock within a 6-week period, you start over. You have to understand this is a business. That is just the way it works. You have to catch back up. In a real business, think about it. Hamburger meat coming in every single week coming in, and I'm selling. I stopped buying hamburger meat 1 week. Revenue stopped. So even though I bought hamburger meat the next week, I'm still short this revenue that had to pay all my bills for the business, pay labor, right? Literally, it starts over on my clock of my business, and I have to catch back up because things didn't stop operating, right? If you stop buying leads, did your life stop? Did y'all stop spending money? Did the electric bills stop? Like, did we hit pause when I go into what is it, the new system, lead stream, Amber? If I go in there and I pause my leads, does like everything else pause? No. You are a business and it's your business. Life doesn't pause. Every time you pause your leads, I promise you, you're gonna pause it. Okay, so just know you gotta keep it going no matter what. Okay, the next one, this is really big. Write this down, please. Leads, you need to have 30 to 60 leads every single time. 30 to 60 leads every single time.
That's every week, right?
Every single week. You got to have, and that could be multiple times throughout the week. Okay. But every time you invest in leads, you got to invest in 30 to 60 leads. If not, the math doesn't math. Okay. So I can be investing $250 in leads, but if I only want A leads, that may only be, right, 8 to 10, 12, whatever leads you're looking at, whatever contract level you're at. 12 leads is not enough to get the results you want. Because that means this week you may not write an app, and next week you may not write an app. Maybe you'll write it in a couple of weeks or the following, but you don't have enough clients to talk to. So you have to understand your investment and where you're at, right? Because hey, sometimes I know we want better leads, but if your budget says you're going to be calling dollar leads, you're calling dollar leads. It is what it is. That means you're going to invest, right? We invest one or the other, time or money. And then you have to find your mix. So you have to understand there's also bad ways to invest in $250 of leads, right? On just trying to get a certain lead for yourself, and then you're maxed out at, right? If you're doing CI leads, maybe you only get 10. Have we ever coached any of y'all to get 10 CI leads? Because I haven't, right? Have y'all ever heard this? And I want y'all to write this number down. 20 CI leads or 10 MIA leads is just enough to stay frustrated. It is just enough to write an app or two a week consistently to just cover your lead investment. But you are a business. You cannot just cover your business expenses. That would be the hamburger joint buying just enough hamburger meat to pay the bills and pay the employees. I'm the business owner. I got bills too. So you got to think about that. You need to invest enough. This is why you got to have a budget. This is why you got to have, right, the numbers so that you can say, hey, I need to make blank dollars to pay my bills, to put money in the bank account, and to operate my business. This is why you need trackers so that you can see these numbers in real life and understand why so many of y'all are just buying leads every single week, just enough to stay broke. You have to understand sometimes you just need to invest more. Okay, now I'm going to push you back to the mindset of that producer, the top producer. But Joe, I'm struggling right now, and you're telling me to put more money in the business. That's not a top producer mindset. The top producer mindset says, okay, I understand. I invest more, I make more. I trust myself with my work ethic to go make more. That's what you have to understand. If you're struggling, means you have to go and invest in more leads and invest in more time. Both of those, it's a combination. You have to do more. Okay. You cannot say, hey, this is where I'm struggling, but this week I'm coming out of it and nothing changed. Your leads stay the same. Your time stayed the same. That is crazy. Right? What's the definition of crazy? I keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Okay. I'm sorry, but this week coming up, if you want a better week than last week, you have to do two things: invest more in leads and more activity until you get good enough to be wherever you want to be. It is just simple math. You have to invest more time and in more leads to get better results. Because whatever you did last week, last month, whatever, if you stay the same, you stay the same or get worse. Because business only goes one or two ways, forward or backwards. No business can stay the same because cost is always happening. The electric bill is always showing up, the car payment, life happens. I need to buy this. School started, so now I need school supply. My son's birthday is coming up this weekend, so I need birthday money. Life happen. So you are either going forward or you're either going backwards. That's your business that you have to understand. So you got to have a tracker so that you can know where to place, right? Because when certain things happen too, we get to do stuff like this, right? When I look at my business, and Kristen helps me so much with my business, she'll be like, hey, so you understand you have this plan coming up. You need to turn up your leads, Joe, because you need to make more money here. And that's literally what we do. We invest in more, I write more and I deposit more so that I can clear something that was showing up. Now, sometimes life happens and you can even still do this. Oh my God. Now all of a sudden I have to come up with this expense. Guess what? I can just go, hey, this new expense just showed up. Guess what? I can just go invest in more leads, invest more time, and get the results that I want. Now you just have to scale it. This is, I think, where a lot of people get scared. Well, I don't have the money to just do that right now. I know that. No one does, right? Your business is not where you want it to be. Oh, did I freeze?
You're still here.
I'm frozen, James.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
We hear you.
Okay,
He
now
said
you are.
that as soon as.
Again, it happened the last time he said, "Am I frozen?" He froze himself. Good job, Joe.
Yeah, so he was saying
He
just
spoke it into existence.
Yeah, there we go. Back.
There you go.
goes.
All right.
There you go.
Right. So again, right, you get to plan and you just have to invest, and we have to scale it though. So that means if, right, wherever you're at, it's okay. You just have to have a plan and scale it. So whatever you can invest in leads, that's fine. Just make sure you put in enough time to get the results out of those leads. Every lead has results. Some of them suck. Right? It is what it is. If you're buying 40, 50-cent leads, the time on that sucks, right? You got to dial a whole bunch. You're going to get, right? Remember, every 150-cent leads writes you 1 to 2 apps. That means you got to go get 98 no's. That's not going to be fun, but it's okay. It's a plan, right? So what you just have to make sure you plan is, hey, I have to be very strong that when my commissions hit, I do not go spend that. That would be like a business owner saying, hey, commissions just hit, but I need to pay my bills. I'm not going to pay my employees. What are my employees going to do? Frozen again.
He needs to stop saying that because when he says it, it's what happens.
right.
Well,
From a
we see the
person who
delay, I
struggles with the
guess,
same
but
thing, you see
there's
yourself freeze and you know it's coming, and then everybody else sees it.
Yeah, so
that
it's
was
But this just
that's a
goes to
great
prove
post.
you can have freezing internet and be a top producer.
Yeah, right? I can still do this. Again, right? So my employees have to get paid. If not, they walk out, my business stops operating. Right? Y'all just understand these kind of things, right? So I have to save the money so that I always have a reoccurring lead investment, right? What we teach is put $2,000 in your bank account, don't touch it. That money was never yours. It's your business operating money. You have to leave it there. Right? Did that come out? Somebody give me a thumbs up. 2,000, right? Cool. So now next, right? And here, I'll leave this. To become a top producer, you do have to start investing $500 to $1,000. Everyone's at a different level, but you got to get there, right? So just write that number down. Don't be scared. Don't let your thermostat scare you, right? You're like, oh my God, Joe, $1,000 a week. Yeah, every top producer in our organization is investing $1,000 or more a week. Don't be scared. Your business, right? That you just build your business to buy, right, 1,000 pounds of hamburger meat. You didn't start there. You started with 10 pounds. You sold that. You went to 15. You went, right? Just scale it. Make it fun. It should be exciting. Business is scary, right? When you start getting to certain levels, you got to have all kinds of crazy investment, travel money, this money, trip money, right? Like all these things that are prizes and awards. Y'all understand we pay for it. Symmetry doesn't pay for it, right? We're about to take a group of agents to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. Y'all understand this? That's like $30,000, $40,000 in investment as an organization that we all take big chunks, but it didn't come out of my pocket. My business grew to that level. I remember when I was a brand new agent, Amber, and I was like, man, one day it would be so cool to be able to take agents on trips. We're there, but we grew it. It took me also 5, 6 years to get there. Right? So your business, right? I know $1,000 a week in leads sounds scary, but stop making it sound scary. Write it down, right? Have the top producer mindset. I need to get to $1,000 a week. If you want to go right 20, 30K a month or more, you need to get to 1,000. It just physically, that's just mathematically, that's how it works. I need leads so that I can go sell more people, right? The last one on the cogs, right, is plugging in, fully engaged. Look at our
I would
top
say that's probably
producers,
the most important one.
right? The most important one, because this is mindset. Again, who can y'all tell me? Can just off the top of our heads, can y'all tell me who posts the most in band? Who's on all the calls when you show up? Who's always unmuting and saying stuff? Who's always camera on? Can you list those people?
Amber.
Right? Think about that. You can probably come up with like 20 people. And I bet you those 20 people are some of our top producers. Look, I stopped trying to figure it out. Vincent, I'm just saying. How
I'm
many
here,
times,
Joe.
how many times you post on band? How many times you're right? Like y'all are present, y'all are unmuting. These are just little tricks, right? That's why I added the mindset of a top producer and the tricks, right? Because why do I call it a trick? Because it makes no sense. It really doesn't. Like you're telling me, Joe, if I just simply post that I'm a top producer, Nicole, over and over and over on band, you're telling me that's all I have to do, right? As long as I do the system right. You're telling me that's all I have to do, Nicole? Can you answer that for me?
Yes, that is all.
That's it? You're
That's
telling
it.
me if I want to deposit $20,000 in a certain time frame, I just have to post and engage about it?
Yeah.
Have you done that personally, Nicole?
Yes, I have.
Amber, have you personally done that?
I have.
Nate, have you personally done that? Look, I stopped trying to figure out why this stuff works. That's why I call it tricks, because it makes no sense. Call it magic, call it strawberry milk, call it the universe, call it I have not because I asked not. I don't care what you want to call it. I'm just telling you what makes you a top producer. I promise these right here, like James says, are probably the most important things out of this call. Okay. Now, how do I make sure I'm engaging properly? Because I could still show up and I could be on the producer call. I could be on engage. I could be on whatever call I'm on. But am I like this and fully engaged and like Mr. Vincent right now, unmuting and asking questions and saying and contributing? Or
He froze again. Oh,
No, he
oh
didn't.
no,
That was
I
the
just
point.
wasn't fully engaged. Hey, you know what? He's right though. You can be plugged in here, but your camera off. You ain't engaged. Guess what? You froze. You ain't hearing nothing. Are you plugged in? Are you truly saying, I want? I remember when my brother, right? Because I got to witness it personally, right? I watched it firsthand from morning to evening, right? When he was on his AO run and he's like, I want to be a top producer. I literally witnessed his engagement. I watched him be plugged into absolutely every single call, have notes, ask questions. He would push himself to post on band. He would stay up late and be watching all kinds of videos and stuff. Full engagement. And then he was practicing what he was learning. He's like, hey, today I'm going to go apply this. Hey, have you ever watched this video? He'd come up into my office and be like, hey, did you ever watch this one? This was a really good one. Fully engaged. Or are you just showing up to these calls because, right, your mentor told you to show up and you're on a phone call, right? You're doing all this, blah, 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 whatever you want to tell yourself. Because, right, the first thing everyone's going to say, well, I was trying to run appointments. I was trying to dial. It's messing up with my schedule. Listen, I got 4 kids, 2 baby mamas, a really large organization. I pick them up. I drop them off. I host most calls. I am almost on every single call, and I still almost always outproduce so many. And it ain't because I want to, it's because I have to if I want to maintain the income that I want. I don't judge what I compare myself to anyone. I just know what I have to do so that I can get what I want to get. That's simple. And I know these 3 cogs. So I know if I'm present to every call, if I'm taking notes and I'm applying and I'm using, I just know. I got to talk to Xander. I'm gonna talk a little bit about our conversation on on being wanting to be a top or elite producer and still building an organization, right? And it's like, well, I have these goals and I want to hit this. I'm like, look, dude, it's business. What I can promise you is if you're consistent, a good producer is going to issue pay, right? So that means we're going to write a little bit more than 15,000 a month. We're going to issue pay 15,000 to 30,000, maybe sometimes 40, 50, 60 if we put a little more effort into it. But I know if I stay consistent and I'm hitting all three of these cogs, I'm going to issue 15,000. I'm not worried about it, right? I know the results and I have a top producer mindset. I produce no matter what. I'm not worried about it. If this week I didn't write business, I'm not freaking out because I know it's coming, because I know my dials were there. I know my sits were there, right? And I know the think about it's were there and the no's. I know it's coming. And then all of a sudden it's an 8K week and a 5K week and a $800 week. And then at the end, it's like, oh, I still issued 18,000. I still issued 25,000. I don't even know. I was on an AO run and I thought this was going to be hard. And I still, during my AO run, I became a top producer. It happens because it happens. You just got to trust the system. I stopped trying to figure out why this stuff works and I just apply it. I promise you these things work. You just got to have the belief in it and you got to be fully engaged. So what do I mean by that is make sure, look, put it on your schedule. Don't book appointments during these calls. They work. Oh, did I freeze again?
You're about to.
Literally
You're
every
right.
time.
He sees it before we do.
Is the delay.
Yeah.
That's great.
And so next, just trying to go over what we're saying, just making sure you have the right number of booking appointments and having those on your schedule as well. We always talk about, hey, having the 6 appointments the next day as well. That's crucial to your business. I mean, if you're doing that and keeping the business every day, doing that for 4 or 3 days, I mean, you're going to sit with your 12 to 15 appointments regardless. I mean, you're going to have your no-shows, you're going to have your reschedules, and you're building that funnel as well. So keep that in mind. So, you start investing more, you're going to build more, but you may not see it the first week. I mean, I think, what was it? When the Roberts hit that, when they were the 50,000, they thought, hey, the first week, they invested more. Hey, they didn't see the results. It was not till week 2 or 3. Week 2, they balanced out, just barely made their money back what they invested in, from the 2 weeks. Week 3 is when they start seeing the results. And week 4, they start amplifying, and then they, it just multiplies afterwards, because after that's all profit. And it's the same in the business. We think we're doing that as well. I mean, if you work at a 9 to 5 job, I mean, you don't get paid daily. We come into this business and we get used to that. But I mean, you're working at least 2 weeks. If you're starting a new job, maybe even 3 weeks before you even see a paycheck. But here you could write a business and you could write, get 1,000 the next day. It's crazy.
Yeah.
More. I
It's
mean,
crazy how fast we start freaking out after, oh my gosh, I didn't write anything today. I didn't write anything yesterday. My business is failing. Give it 2 weeks, give it a week, and then see where you're at. So
Yeah.
spot on, James.
no, absolutely. A lot of times, I mean, how many times have we gone all week and then Friday, boom, last appointment on Friday?
All the time. I hate it.
5,000 all issued, or something more. It's crazy. But it's just that important, being consistent. You can't go, hey, one day I'm doing, 1 week I do it, then the next day. That's when your business starts doing that roller coaster. So it's really important to make sure you have those appointments every day as well, and setting your goals, which you're going to hit.
Love it. I love it. Right. So, and we'll finish off engagement with, right? Are you just plugged in? Look, figure out your schedule. Things have to be more important. Your business has to be more important than some stuff. That's all I can tell you. Right. Because you can want to go do all these things with your kids, right? With your spouse, with whatever you don't want to give up. You can't go do a lot of those things if you don't have money, if you can't pay the bills. It just is what it is. Now, it's just a time, right? Sacrifice right now until you get the results that you want, and then stay consistent, and you can go figure out almost anything you want. It's insane of how it works, right? Just be very consistent, plug on engagement. I just want to leave y'all with, make sure you plug all these things in. You need them, I promise you. But make it a goal to unmute and say something. Make it a goal to post on band several times. Look, they like when we were learning the numbers of every time I hit send, right? I would make like $1.50 right on my tracker. James, the only thing I wanted to do was like, how fast can I hit send? Right? And so if I'm telling you numbers like these, think about this. I'm telling you, there's a direct correlation to people that post on band. Why wouldn't you go post on band? So how many times can I post on band? Can I post my dials? Can I celebrate Amber? Can I just post? Go post. I don't know why it works, but it works.
Yeah, and it's a lot of times you're putting your goals out there and it's manifesting as well. I mean, Amber does a great job. Your business, your team, they start ramping up as well too. So it's they see the belief as well. So definitely, how many times do you want to post on bat? I mean, uh, right now Amber's crushing it. But how many times is she posting on band? How many times is she putting her goals out there, even though she may not hit them? But eventually she hit like what she would do. Would you just hit right now? Top producer month 1 locked in.
Locked in,
Let's
baby.
go. It's just gonna happen in a matter of time. You start saying you're a top producer and you're gonna hit it. Look, she hit month 1. It's just being consistent and saying that as well. Whatever your goals out there. You want to hit. One of my goals is I want to hit five. I want to hit 5 more thousand by tomorrow. Right. So from today and tomorrow, I need to make sure I have plenty of appointments. Just do the right activity to set me up and be consistent. And I know I'm going to hit it. But what's the worst case? I hit 4,000. I'm not going to be bad. I'm already at 4,100. But I want to hit 10. So actually want to hit 6. So I want to hit 3,000 this today and 3,000 tomorrow. But putting it out there, just make sure you're going to hit those goals. Being vulnerable. What's the worst? I hit 5. I'll still be happy.
And
Right.
don't be afraid to put your goals out there, right? Like
stretch your goals.
It feels
Yeah.
vulnerable, right? Posting your goals every day. But I promise you posting it allows us to help you like celebrate when you hit them. And even if you fall just barely short, it's still a big win, right? Because you might, if you didn't pay attention to it, you might not have hit that goal.
I love it, right? I'm gonna leave y'all with on the engage and plugged in correctly. I'm gonna give y'all numbers, write these down. So we did research in our organization, and this is what the numbers are. If you consistently are hosting live dial sessions, right? Whether in the main workroom or wherever, live dial session, they equal 1 hour equals 2,200 in APV of live dial sessions consistently over 6 weeks. So what does that mean? Patrick, how do I almost guarantee I have a 10K week? You're telling me all I have to do is schedule myself for 5 hours a week in live dial sessions? Dude, I stopped trying to figure it out. And here's the thing, that's the average number. Some folks were way higher than that. Some folks were a little bit lower. The average number of a live dial session consistently over 6 weeks equals 2,200 in APV. Our schedule should be so full. If you don't understand these numbers, why are you not scheduled? Why are you not scheduled for 5 slots a week for 6 weeks and figure out you become a 10K a week producer? Again, I just give y'all this number, and it's amazing how many of y'all are going to get off this call and not do it.
No, I don't agree.
Right?
How
Penelope, I agree. I'm just telling y'all, these are the numbers that you have to put in place, right? And these are the stats that we have for y'all. So the next one, right, if
I
we're
have
reading,
a question. How do
go
you,
ahead.
as a beginner, I'm like a beginner on dialing, how would I host a live dial session? And would I, as a beginner, would that be beneficial?
100%. Listen, it's like Kobe. How many of y'all have watched the basketball game? How many of y'all watched a whole bunch of them? You're telling me because y'all watched Kobe do a whole bunch of layups for 15, 20 years, you can go do a layup like Kobe? It doesn't matter how many more times you go watch him. You know the concept of a layup. You have to practice and they have to coach you. Right? So it is the fastest way for you to get better, to be in a live dial session, unmuted, so that people can coach you. So it is.
And how do I
100%.
set that up? Do I get with my upper to
Get
set
with
that
your
up?
upline. Yep.
Okay.
Make sure you get with your upline. And when you're clicking, or right before you click into this room, right, there's a schedule and you can add yourself, but don't add yourself yet. Make sure you get with your upline so that somebody's available to coach you. But that is 100% the fastest way to get better.
Thank you.
That was an amazing question. Thank you for asking that. Right. So now just make sure when you're engaged, right? So that means, are you on these calls? Are you taking notes? Just please make sure you apply them. You have to, again, right? I watched a whole bunch of y'all write some of this stuff down. It's amazing of how I won't see you in the workroom, or I won't see your name on the list, or we won't see you post and banned. It's not that I'm calling you out, I'm calling you up, because we're teaching, take notes and apply. So if we now know a whole bunch of these things help us, why are we not applying? That's something you need to get with your upline and counsel, right? The last one, I love to do this. It's the mentee-mentor relationship, okay? This is the hard part when you're not finding the results you want, because write this down here. I like this. Write this down. You ready? You ready? This is a system. Because this is a system, I know what to do. And yes, that means you have to get coached and counsel on something you already know how to do. That's ego. And there's different egos, right? There's a prideful ego. And then there's the other ego where you're just not getting the results you want and you don't want to talk about it, right? You have to get past that. Again, I stopped trying to figure out why this works. It works. When you counsel, the people that call me every single day, and the people that call their uplines, that call Jordan, that call Val, Chris, the folks that call us the most become the most successful. I watched Cody go through whatever he was going through and become a top producer. And I'm like, what were you doing? He goes, I don't know. Jeff told me to call him every day. So I said, fine, whatever. I'm going to call him. He literally did that. He called Jeff every single day. Boom. Cody was a top producer officially. This stuff works. We're just giving y'all stats, right? Again, are you going to go apply this? How many of y'all my phone should explode? Your upline's phone should explode, right? Everyone that has a team's phone should explode if we went to apply, right? There's 70 y'all on this call, right? Again, are you going to learn, apply, and find success, right? Because that's the mindset of a top producer. You got to borrow their belief. Right? You're not in a good mindset if you're struggling, right? You're literally in the middle of it and watching it not work. Do y'all understand that? Y'all are literally in the system, buying leads, dialing, and not getting the results. You are not in the best mindset to counsel yourself. You're gonna make decisions that don't make sense. You're literally going to say, like, why would I even do that now that I said that out loud, or my mentor asked me this question, right? Like, you know how many times I said something out loud to Chris Cook and he was like, Joe, did you hear that? I'm like, yes. He goes, so you know what to do? Yes, I do. But you need to hear that. It just is what we're human, right? Give yourself grace in the fact that you are human, right? You're going to not do things that are hard. You're going to not do things that don't make sense to you because you are in the middle of not finding success. Watch this. You are in the middle of not finding success, but this works. But you're like, no, it doesn't. Why are you taking your own advice? Why are you taking your own advice? You may not be the right. We talk about association and getting advice from the right person. You are not the right person right now. So whatever decision you may make is probably not a good one, because guess what? The reason you are where you are is because of the decisions you have made. Think about that. So why are you trying to give yourself advice? A top producer understands that and it's like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna humble myself down and I'm just gonna do what they tell me to do. Right? Or I need to go hear what they're gonna tell me. Sometimes it's the same thing. Most of the time it's not. Right? Depending where you're at. Stop trying to do this by yourself. We're a system. Why are you dialing by yourself? There's a dial room. Why are you running appointments by yourself? There's a dial room, right? Like there's a work room. Why are you trying to do this? You know, one of the biggest excuse, Ian, that somebody tells me is like, oh, well, I'm a little embarrassed for you to hear me dial. I'm a little embarrassed for you to run an appointment in front of everyone. Where do you go work and not work around your coworkers? Where do you go work and not work around clients? Where do you go work and there's not a manager supervising you? James, you worked in a dial room.
Man, you're right next to somebody, and it was
What are we
all the
talking
time
about
you're
here?
in front of everybody.
You
And
work
a
in
lot of
front of
times
everyone.
it's for yourself. I mean, when I run live appointments, it makes me run better appointments, and almost every single time I have a
Oh,
higher percent chance
every
of
single time.
writing applications. And even when I'm dialing, I have a higher chance of booking appointments and solid appointments that they're going to show up. Because I know y'all listening, so I want to make sure I'm doing it correctly. So it's making me better. It's like I do it more for myself than for I mean, because I know I have to do more, so I book better appointments, I book more, and guess what? I'm writing more.
Listen to this little trick, James. Amber in one of our chats the other day posted, I don't know what I'm doing different, but my show rate's like, what was it, Amber? 80, 90? What did you say?
It's like 70% on the first or second booking. I don't really ever get past that.
And she's like, I don't know what I'm doing different. Do you know what we coached and counseled her a month ago to do? Like, hey, Amber, just make sure you're live more than ever again.
And she is.
She's just been direct. She's been running appointments. That look,
She's crushing it now.
I stopped trying to figure out why this stuff works. It works. Put these odds in your favor. I promise you. If you want to be a better dialer, unmute. If you want to have a better appointment, unmute. Why are you trying to do this by yourself? There is no other job that you go work where somebody doesn't watch you, listen to you, supervise you, coach you. Everywhere else in the restaurant business, in the corporate world, every position, doctors, there's people around them watching them work. Why do you feel this way of, oh, it's embarrassing? What are you talking about? Any other job you did in front of everyone else? It is just a mindset in your own head because it's easy to hide, right? Because you just do it from your house. Look, what I hope is y'all take this information and blow up the workroom, right? That's why we're doing the live dial sessions tomorrow, right? But get with your upline, get counseled, ask them questions. Whatever you took notes on, I promise you, if you go apply 3 of these things every single day for the next week, you write more business. You become a better producer, right? Just remember the 3 main ones are the cogs. You got to do all 3, right? So don't go get coach and counseled this week. Be engaged in everything. Maybe interview someone, but you bought no leads. System, you're the one not making the system work, right? It's 3 cogs. They all have to be operating so that the machine can work, right? So I hope this was a really cool call for y'all. Again, we've just been prepping for conference, so we have a lot, just a ton of we've been working with agencies all over Symmetry, and we've been just having all kinds of meetings and like, what is the most successful things? This is like condensed between all of Symmetry right now, information of top producers. So I hope this is a lot of gold for y'all, and y'all go apply it because I get excited. I nerd out with this kind of stuff, right? Because I'm like, so you're telling me if I do this, I get that. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. So I'm gonna call it a magic trick. And it's insane how it works. So I hope this was super beneficial for y'all. Post it and band if something works.
Absolutely beneficial. Joe, before you disappear, can I ask you one quick question?
Yes, sir.
So I know that it's going to be important for each of us to also get into the workroom and unmute. But going back to Kobe, if I never saw Kobe do a layup, I wouldn't really, the concept of it would be a little bit off in my own mind, even if I read about it, right?
Correct.
So most of the time when I'm in the workroom, people are doing dial sessions. I don't think I've ever seen someone run appointments in the workroom. Is there a way for us to signify when that is what we're going to be doing so that people like me who like to see a Kobe do a layup can say, hey, Joe's going to be in the workroom on Friday at 10 p.m. doing, you see what I'm saying?
So I can instantly solve that problem. Amber, can you post your appointment in here, please, on the chat or in band? Actually, post it in band. So she's gonna post. So we have a mock appointment.
Oh, that.
Okay.
We have a mock appointment. That's us running an appointment. Nothing changes, right? It's the concept of an appointment. I promise you, you don't have to watch me. You don't have to watch Amber. You don't have to watch us. We're reading the script. So what I highly recommend is watch the video that Amber's going to post, have the real script out. Before you watch the video, read through the whole real script, and then watch the video with the real script and read along. It makes so much more sense. But after that, dude, look, what I tell an agent is you don't need more than an hour to 2 hours total of watching someone or listening to someone. After that, it does you no good. You watch Kobe a couple times, you understand the concept of a layup. I'm running and I'm gonna go like this, right?
Right.
Now after that, it's all about your form, because you're not going to do the layup exactly like Kobe. You're going to do it based on your body size and type. So it doesn't matter how far Kobe had to jump in the air. It's going to matter how high Vincent has to jump in the air for you to
Absolutely.
adjust. Because of your arm length, right? So many other factors. So you can only watch someone so much, right? So I love you asked this question, Vincent. So all of y'all that just sit there and listen to folks, you need to stop. You jump, right? That's not engagement properly, right? That's like buying the wrong amount of leads or wrong type of lead. You can engage all you want. The workroom is not just for you to go listen to folks. It does you no good. If Melissa asked me for help and she said, hey, I'm dialing a whole bunch, but I need help. I'm like, okay, but you've been practicing in the other gym. I've never watched you practice. I've never watched you attempt the layup. So it does me no good as a coach, and it does you no good as a mentee that you don't practice in front of us. We're not trying to practice, right? We're not working on me. We're working on you. So it is highly important for you to be unmuted and let us listen to you run your script. It's fun. Make it fun. Who cares? Do y'all know how many times we say the wrong things? Guess what? They don't know our script, right? Like get off and off the call and then turn around and laugh. Like, did y'all hear that? I don't even know why I said that. We do that still currently. We laugh, right? And then it becomes so much more funner for you. I promise. You need that too. So Vincent, I love that question, dude. Watch it a couple times, the video, but that's it, dude. That's all. After that, it doesn't matter if you watch me, right? Because once you've watched Amber's video, It doesn't matter who you watch at this point. That's not working on Vincent. We have to hear you run an appointment, because we say stuff that will blow, like, and when I say we, you will, in your appointment, say stuff that you're like, no, I didn't. Do you know how many people I've listened to run an appointment, right? Unmuted. And after that, be like, hey, did you realize you said this? Did you realize you said die like 100 times? They're like, no, I didn't. I'm like, yeah, you did. You said like, hey, if you die, we're going to protect you, right? So if your husband dies, and like, it's little words like that we don't realize we're saying. But again, right, we can't work on your layup until we hear you do it. So such a great question, dude. So I hope that brings a lot of, right, watch that video. After that, dude, y'all go to that calendar and fill it up. 2,200 in APV after 6 weeks average. Who doesn't want a 10K week by just following the system? So
where is the video going to be posted at?
In band.
In band is already there. Amber's quick.
Oh,
Amber's the fastest.
thank you.
Yep.